I
I
never thought I'd see
demand
the
you
day
get
an
me out of this
SUV
mud
sank into my front
immediately!
yard like it was
This is
being swallowed by
unacceptable!
some
I'm calling the
monster
police!
lurking under the sod. But there I was, coffee in hand, watching Karen's polished tank disappear a half-foot deep into my grass. Her high-pitched screams echoed down the block as she stumbled out, shoes caked in mud, face twisted with rage. I just stood there on my porch trying my best not to laugh. What she didn't know, and what made the whole scene even sweeter, was that I'd built that trap just for her. And the icing on the cake, every inch of it was perfectly legal. I moved into this neighborhood a few years back with the dream of a quiet life. Working from home, enjoying the peace, maybe growing a lawn so perfect old men would pause on their walks and nod with approval. That kind of suburban paradise. And for a while I had it. My lawn became my pride, my little green kingdom. I had a routine morning watering, strict afternoon trims, 0 dandelions allowed. I'd stare out the window, coffee steaming in hand, thinking, yeah, this is the good life. Then Karen moved in. And let me tell you, the universe has a real sense of humor. You think you've found peace, then bam, Karen shows up. Her voice could cut glass, and her SUV. Imagine a freight train pulling up in the middle of a library. She liked to brag, I'm not like other Karens. Which, as it turns out, means she was worse. Within the first week, she started parking that beast on my lawn, claiming she had to do an emergency school run or was just popping in real quick. But it wasn't just a tire or two sneaking over the edge. It was the entire side of her SUV, half the car embedded in my grass, rutting it up like it was her God-given right. I tried being nice at first. Put up a sign, please don't park on the grass. She laughed the first time, knocked it over the second. When I asked her politely not to do it again, she rolled her eyes and said, "You're really gonna cry over some grass, sweetie." That's when I knew this was war. So I went to the HOA, hoping someone there might have a spine. Turns out Karen was on the board. Of course she was. Explained a lot. The HOA shrugged me off. No help there, so if I wanted my peace back, I'd have to get creative. My friends told me, just let it go. You'll only stress yourself out. But I don't let things go, especially not when someone keeps stomping all over the thing I'd poured months of care into. At that point, it wasn't just about grass. It was about principle. Then one rainy Wednesday morning, I was making breakfast when I heard that familiar engine roar. Karen up on the curb as usual, but this time the ground was different, soft, rain-soaked. I watched from the window as her tires spun, flinging mud and sod everywhere, her face twisting as her SUV slowly, gloriously stopped moving. She jumped out heels, sinking into the muck, and started yelling at the ground like it had betrayed her. "Your grass ruined my car!" she shrieked, as if I'd partnered with Mother Nature herself to sabotage her tires. I didn't bother arguing. I just stood there in the rain, listening. And in that moment, something clicked. If she wanted to treat my yard like her personal parking lot, maybe I needed to give her a parking lot she'd never forget. One with hidden costs. One that would quite literally sink her. And best of all, I could do it all by the book. So I started digging through landscaping guides, city ordinances, HOA bylaws. Turns out as long as it's not a permanent structure or safety hazard, I could modify my yard however I wanted. I stumbled onto this idea called a bioswale, a plant-filled ditch to help with water retention, loved by environmentalists, fully approved by municipalities. But if you play your cards right, it's also perfect for building what I started calling the swamp trap. I took my time, collected garden liners, specialty soils, turf that could hide wet ground, a few frog statues, and solar pond lights for camouflage. All the while, Karen kept parking. She'd smirk when I walked out, and I'd just smile back. She had no idea that each night after she went to bed, I was outside with a shovel reshaping the earth beneath her future disaster. The trap was a thing of beauty. Hidden pipes to collect rainwater, a basin lined with water-absorbing clay, a layer of engineered soil that looked firm but would shift under pressure, and a final layer of pristine turf on top. To anyone else, it looked better than ever, a bright green welcome mat. But underneath it was a trap waiting to swallow anything heavy. Took only 2 days of hard rain for Karen to take the bait. She rolled onto my lawn tires, sinking fast. She tried to back out, nothing. The more she revved, the deeper she went. I watched from my porch, coffee in hand, like I was some kingpin watching a rival fall into my trap. She screamed, cursed, blamed the weather, the city me when the tow truck arrived, and got stuck too. I almost felt bad. Almost. Word spread fast. Neighbors started sharing photos of Karen's SUV and the doomed tow truck half submerged in my lawn. My yard became a local legend overnight. But I knew Karen. She wasn't the type to slink away and lick her wounds. No, she was reloading for round 2. So I doubled down, but I kept everything above board. Dug through every HOA clause, found my golden ticket, a green sustainability incentive program, letting homeowners convert their lawns into water-saving designs if it wasn't permanent. I filed a plan loaded with eco-buzzwords, stormwater management, pollinator, habitat, the works. The HOA president signed off without even reading the fine print. Then I got to work. Truckloads of water-retaining soil, deep-rooted grasses, hidden mesh that'd collapse under too much weight. Hired a landscaper to make it all look legit, but at night I fine-tuned the swamp trap myself. By the time Karen came back, my yard was an eco-paradise on paper. She tried testing me, parked a tire on the edge, arms crossed, waiting for me to snap. Instead, I waved and said, "Just improving runoff for the neighborhood." That annoyed her more than yelling ever could. The psychological part of the trap was just beginning. I put up signs, wetland in progress, sod testing zone, planted switchgrass and soft rushes to keep things damp, rerouted my downspouts into hidden soak pits. To the untrained eye, it looked like quirky landscaping. Underneath, a perfectly balanced swamp just waiting for the next entitled tire. Things escalated when Karen started her beautification committee passing out flyers about unsightly yards. Guess who she meant? She actually came up to me with a printout of acceptable garden styles. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Has your SUV accepted Jesus yet?" After its baptism in my lawn, I figured it was halfway there. She didn't laugh, but I did. She tried rallying the neighborhood, but most folks were too entertained or too scared to join in. Those who'd witnessed the great sinking mostly watched from afar, popcorn in hand. But Karen kept at it. One day I saw her circling my lawn, clipboard in hand, taking photos. She was building a case to try and reverse my approval, but she didn't know I'd documented everything: emails, signed forms, before and after pics, even soil samples. This war was half landscaping, half paperwork, and I was ready to drown her in both. I started to see my nightly yard work as performance art, each rake stroke and seed planting part of a one-man show for Karen, who'd watch from behind her curtains. The more obsessed she became, the more I leaned in. One night she tossed gravel onto my curb trying to stabilize it, she claimed. I already had a motion cam set up, caught her on video in slippers flinging rocks like some angry raccoon. The next day I taped screenshots to my mailbox with a smiley face. She confronted me, breathless, threatening to call the HOA. I just offered to submit the footage myself. After that, the sabotage attempts stopped. She started playing defense, filing complaints with the HOA, noise lights, frogs, you name it. My favorite was her claiming my yard attracted mosquitoes, which the city inspector shot down by pointing out her bird bath was the real mosquito factory. Meanwhile, I just kept smiling, attending every HOA meeting with a stack of documents and photos, Karen unraveling with every failed accusation. But the real twist came on a windy Thursday night. My trail cam caught a figure hood-up sack over the shoulder, pouring gravel and what looked like cement into one of my swales. Karen, clear as day. The next morning, I filed a trespassing report, turned over the footage to the city and HOA. The inspector issued her a violation for illegally modifying a permitted project. Fine was steep, and her rage even steeper. She came over phone recording, trying to bait me into admitting I'd faked it all. I just looked into the camera and asked, "Is this live?" She nodded. I showed her the police report number and citation. Word spread fast. Someone sent me the live stream. Comment section was ruthless people from all over town weighing in, some even offering to send frog plushies for my yard. Karen went quiet after that. But I wasn't done. I installed a sign, "Beware of Bog Beast. Neighborhood Guardian since 2023, next to a gnome in a swamp hat. Played frog noises at night from a hidden speaker. Karen stopped driving by. Or maybe she just got tired of being the neighborhood joke. Then the wildest thing happened. At the next HOA meeting, someone else, not me, proposed a ban on parking on any lawn ever. The vote was unanimous except one abstention. Karen had lost her seat on the board, her power gone. The rule she'd inspired was now the law. Funny thing was, after all the drama, my lawn never looked better. Birds came, daily frogs became mascots, a local eco club even asked to feature my bioswale in their community tour. And as a cherry on top, a viral Reddit post popped up when Karen declares war on the wrong lawn. The comment section was brutal and beautiful. But I still had one final move. I printed 100 flyers on neon green big cartoon frog in the corner. You're invited to the first annual swamp party. Come see where Karen's SUV learned to swim. Didn't hand them out, just let them appear. Mailboxes, windshields, HOA board. By party time, the whole neighborhood was there. Lawn chairs, coolers, frog-themed snacks. I went all in tiki torches, fog machine, a canoe propped up like a monument with a plaque in memory of Karen's front bumper gone but not forgotten. People laughed, swapped their own Karen stories. Even the neighbor with the drone brought it to get aerial shots. I watched the street knowing Karen would show. She did creeping by in her SUV, parking 3 houses down, sunglasses on like she was incognito. She stalked the perimeter, jaw tight, face burning. I greeted her t-shirt reading, "Swamp it like it's hot." She hissed, "You made a mockery of me." I shrugged. "Did I though, or did you do that all on your own? Too many cameras for her to try anything." She stormed off, nearly tripping into a shallow pit, while a neighbor whispered, "She's lucky we didn't install alligators." The party rolled on, laughter and music drifting into the night. A few days later, the real end came. For sale sign in Karen's yard, her hands shaking as she signed the papers, avoiding my gaze. No more glares, no more flybys. She disappeared so quietly you'd never know she was there. When the house finally emptied, I left a ceramic frog with sunglasses on her porch. A little mascot, a warning, or maybe a wish for better luck elsewhere. Looking back, the lesson in all this wasn't about grass or traps or HOA rules. It was about standing your ground without becoming the villain in your own story. About finding humor when chaos comes knocking. About turning sabotage into celebration and never underestimating the power of a well-planned swamp. Karen arrived with chaos but left with silence. And my yard waited patient as ever, ready for the next entitled tire to test its luck. So here's my question for you. Where's the line between defending what's yours and becoming just as petty as the people you're fighting? Does justice always look like this, or did I go too far? Ever faced your own Karen and had to get creative? Drop your stories below. I have a feeling I'm not alone.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video của mình.